Before 1776, the United States of America was not a country, and the individual states were colonies under the rule of Great Britain's king, King George III. The people in America were not treated like British citizens and did not feel loyal to Great Britain. They did not like paying taxes without any representation in Parliament. An American Revolution began in April of 1775, but most colonists at that time were not seeking independence. As the war continued and the soldiers attempted to crush the rebels, more colonists wanted to be free from British rule, and in August, King George III declared that they were rebels, ordered the Royal Army and Navy to be enlarged, and hired foreign troops to fight them. News of his words reached America in January 1776, and Thomas Paine published a pamphlet called Common Sense that explained how the colonists were being mistreated by the king and that independence was a natural right and the only possible course for the colonists. More than 150,000 copies of the pamphlet were sold in its first few weeks in publication, and support for independence grew. North Carolina first voted in favor of independence, and 7 other colonies followed. A Continental Congress that was formed to make decisions for all of the colonies met in Philadelphia. Virginia Delegate Richard Henry Lee introduced a motion calling for the colonies' independence, but during a heated debate, Congress postponed the vote and called for a recess. Before departing, a committee of 5 people was appointed to write a document that would justify and announce their intention to declare their independence from Great Britain. Those on this committee were John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Robert Livingston, and Roger Sherman. Thomas Jefferson was a gifted writer and wrote most of the first draft in 17 days. It included an introduction called a preamble stating that seeking independence from Great Britain had become necessary for the colonies, and that all people were equal and everyone had the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It also stated that governments only exist for the good of the people they govern and need to represent and listen to these citizens. He then listed the many complaints of the colonists against the British government, such as putting people in jail for no reason, making taxes that were too high, and not respecting the people who lived in the American colonies. The Declaration told Great Britain that because of these things, the colonies would now be 13 free and united states, and no longer under British rule. A few changes were suggested by the committee, and Thomas Jefferson presented the Declaration to the Continental Congress on June 28th. Not everyone agreed to vote for independence, and there were arguments and debates for days. Finally, on July 2nd, the agreement to declare independence passed with a few revisions, and the President of the Congress, John Hancock, signed a handwritten parchment copy with an impressive signature that was large enough so that King George could read it even without his glasses. The document was further revised until the morning of July 4th, when it was accepted by representatives of 12 states who declared their independence from the British Empire as free and independent states, with New York accepting it 11 days later. Copies of the Declaration of Independence were printed, and 56 men eventually signed it, knowing they were risking everything. The Declaration was published in newspapers and read aloud to crowds in towns throughout the colonies. When King George III and the British Parliament heard about the Declaration of Independence, they were angry. Great Britain finally recognized the formal independence of this new country, the United States of America, in 1783, when they were defeated by the Americans and the Revolutionary War ended. The Declaration of Independence is an important document in the history of the United States of America. It explained why the American colonies had chosen to separate themselves from Great Britain and the ideals and beliefs of those who started the United States as a free and independent country. The Declaration was very important to America's democracy, but also influenced other nations, including the French Revolution. Along with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence is one of the 3 most important founding documents of the United States government and is located in the National Archives in Washington, D.C. The preamble of the Declaration of Independence includes its most famous passage, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Many of the brave men who fought for and signed this important document were prosperous and had everything to lose, but knew their independence from Great Britain and formation of their new country was worth any price they might have to pay, and that liberty was more important than security. One line at the end of the Declaration of Independence sums up their courage. "We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." King George III had denounced all rebels in America as traitors, with their punishment for treason as hanging. Many of these patriots paid a large price for their loyalty to this cause and lost their homes, fortunes, and families. 5 were captured by the British and tortured before they died. 12 had their homes looted, occupied, or burned. 2 lost their sons in the army, and 9 died fighting in the war. Americans celebrate Independence Day on July 4th with parades, music, celebrations, and fireworks, and this important holiday is known as America's birthday. The drawings in the video, puzzles, activities, and coloring pages are available on this Etsy site called Ponderfun, shown in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, like and share the Ponderfun Facebook page, and share these videos with anyone you think might enjoy them, and I'll keep making new ones. Thanks again for watching, and find some time this week to ponder.